Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's get it. So this morning, let's get you out to the main. Actually, let's look at the low floats first. So the low floats that I'm seeing right now, we have these three: PMAX, CM, CT, IMRN. These are what I'm seeing for this morning. All my other scans are kind of blank, so higher flows and nothing really on watch yet. But let's go ahead and do our due diligence on these three to see why they're moving. PMAX has 10 million shares traded this morning. CMCT has 4 million, and then IMRN has 8 million. But the PMAX is leading with 35% up, CMCT only 20%, and then IMRN with 17%. So let's go ahead and look through these. And let's start with PMAX. Powell Max Limited. All right, so first off, the profile says Powell Max Limited, through its subsidiary, provides corporate financial communications and financial printing services in Hong Kong. The company offers financial communication services that support capital market compliance and transaction needs for corporate clients and their advisors. Okay, so this is out of Hong Kong. Go ahead and notate that. Notate that over here, and I guess we'll call it Hong Kong Asian company. Asian Hong Kong. And let's see, it must have a low flow of people are willing to play with it this morning. 10 million people are willing to play with it. So the float is looking like, yeah, under 1,994,000 in the float. And let's see, where's insiders? Insiders have 45%. That is very sketchy. On this one, being a Chinese company too, 45%, they can drop that thing like a rock. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm not gonna spend too much time on these that probably are blocked by TOS anyway. Actually, let me test it and see if it's blocked by TOS. So I'm just going to try to buy the bid. Yep, it is blocked by TOS. So let me make sure I read that right. Yeah. Okay, TOS is blocking that one. Let's go out to the next one, CMCT. Creative Media company. Let's look at this float. Float is 589,000. So let me notate that. Float of 589K. And let's go look at the profile. Okay, so it says Creative Media, a community trust corporation, is a Maryland corporation REIT. All right, that is a red flag. It is a REIT. So let me go ahead and notate that. It's American based, but REITs usually are not the heat in the market. All right, so since this is based out of, where is it out of? It doesn't really matter. It's a REIT. And the float is 589K, so that will be my note there. Yep. All right, the next one is IMRN. IMRN. Profile says Imuron Limited, a biopharmaceutical company, engages in the research, development, and commercialization of polyclonal antibodies in Australia, the United States, and Canada. It operates through two segments, research and development and hyperimmune products. The company offers Travalan, an over-the-counter medicine to reduce the risk of travelers' diarrhea and risk of minor gastrointestinal disorders, as well as dietary supplement for digestive tract protection. Immune supplement to help maintain healthy digestive function and liver. It also develops Travalan, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's see where it's from. So it's from Carlton, Australia. So yesterday and today, we're seeing the low flow start off outside the U.S. Yesterday was heavy with Chinese stocks and the Israeli stock. Today we're seeing pretty much kind of the same. The Chinese is leading off, but it can still be caught up with. It's not just an exorbitant amount of volume over here on PMAX, that Chinese stock, or on CMCT. So we'll see if anything comes up and clips those wings. But IMRN, let's go ahead and notate this, that it is from Australia. Another out. And then we will look at the catalyst now that we got a little bit of idea of what the profile is talking about. And also, let me look at this float for this. So float for this is looking like 264 million. That is a crazy high float to be up here on the low floats. That's kind of crazy. So definitely a much higher float than the outstanding shares. 264 million. That's not good. So that's another red flag against it. All right, now let's look at catalysts on these three. Actually, I'm not even gonna look at PMAX because PMAX is blocked. CMCT, I did not test if it was blocked or not, and IMRN, I'm not sure either. So let's see. It says Imuron, new U.S. Department of Defense award for a clinical trial update. That was an hour ago, so let's look into that. But that high float is crazy. All right. Let's see. New U.S. Department of Defense award to develop 2 new oral therapeutics targeting camp. Oh, boy. All right. That word and this word, uniform services, university, clinical, blah, blah, blah. Are they talking any money about what kind of award that this is my question. So let's see. Agreement with Naval Medical Research Command. As previously announced on August 16th, 2024, the Naval Medical Research Command and Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, in collaboration with Imuron, are progressing the development of novel vaccines. Okay. Is there any talk of the money? The money. There's not. All right. So that's, there's no real talk of the money. It's just that they got an award. So that's kind of vague. And that's probably not going to excite too many people. So yeah, those are the 3 that I'm seeing right now on the low float scanner. And we're kind of waiting for other things to populate. But now that we got a little bit of free time, I'm going to go and look at the rest of the news on today, kind of look at what the overall market is doing, and then circle back around to the scanners if anything pops up. But for now, these 3 all have red flags for sure. Let me test out CMCT to see if it's blocked over here. CMCT, let's just pop an order out there. It's probably not blocked, to be honest. It's a REIT, so it shouldn't be blocked. Let's see. Okay, nope, it's not blocked. All right, cancel that. And also test IMRN. That one's not blocked either. Okay. So when it's blocked, you get this message up here that just says, let me go back to PMAX and do it. It says your order is not eligible for electronic entry. Please call Charles Schwab for advisory or something like that. That's what you get. All right. Anyway, let's jump over here to the news and do a little bit more dissecting. So top image here says Apple's leadership shift marks a major reset in AI strategy. Bitcoin hits a 2-week high. Yeah, Bitcoin is starting to hold back up those 90,000s, and my portfolios are coming on back up. They did get punched in the mouth for a little bit, but are coming back up, so that's great. Shoppers are running out of steam despite holiday sales surge. Salesforce stock is historically cheap as AI risk takes a toll. Okay, Salesforce. So which one? I guess CRM is Salesforce. Let me notate that. CRM, see how much volume. Oh, it doesn't have much volume at all. Okay. Trader bets swell on Trump-backed Fed. Data stoking U.S. rate cuts. U.S. stock futures edge up with data set to test rate bets. Amazon challenges rivals with NVIDIA AI factories. Okay, so Amazon and NVIDIA are up here on the front page. So let me notate those and see if they actually come into play. Amazon and NVIDIA. Macy's posts a surprise profit with overhaul under new CEO resonating with shoppers. Iran's Real currency falls to new low of 1.2 million to the US dollar as nuclear sanctions squeeze its ailing economy. Modelo and Corona are unexpected casualties of Trump's immigration crackdown. Modelo, oh, those are the beverages. Modelo, Corona, okay. Oil gains as traders weigh the next steps in Russia-Ukraine war. Why your social security raise might not be what you expect, and what it means for you. CrowdStrike slips despite upbeat quarterly review forecast. Let me notate CrowdStrike. Marvel, the one that we read about earlier, I think last week. Marvel to buy chip startup Celestial AI for 3.25 billion, bullish on growth next year. So these are the things that are on the front page sticking out there. And if we look on the on watch, this is where I'm notating these. Marvel is up 10%, 10% since yesterday. So quite a bit of a move. It doesn't have a crazy amount of volume yet, but it's almost to that 1 million mark. So it's going to be sucking up some volume. We'll have to watch out for that. Let's continue to look through the news here. All right, so they're talking about CrowdStrike off the rip.
Yeah, appreciate.
You've seen the results. What do you make of the report?
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. As you noted, expectations were high coming into the print. The stock had a really strong move. Just looking at the numbers, it looks like a solid print. Net new ARR, which is the number we focused on, grew 23%. That accelerated versus 20% last quarter. ARR beat expectations, revenue beat expectations, and so it was a really solid print across the board. And we look at Q4 guidance. It's effectively in line with consensus. So at first blush, it looks like a solid overall print.
I know you have a buy on the name, Matt. The stock, though, as we were talking about there, what a run year to date heading into this report, up around 50%. How would you think about and just kind of characterize valuation here, Matt?
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Yeah, we look at cybersecurity as a good place to be in the market right now, right? I mean, there's a lot of concern about what AI's impact is on software overall. We see cybersecurity as more of a defensive space, and obviously with the potential threats increasing, based on AI, we do see CrowdStrike as uniquely positioned there. And when we think about AI winners, these stocks often carry hefty traditional valuation metrics. But we've liked this name for the long term in terms of the growth and expansion opportunities. And so, we do think it's a uniquely placed asset.
Let me ask you about, just remind me, when we talk about that kind of broader cybersecurity market, who would you say are CrowdStrike's primary rivals, and what does CrowdStrike bring to the table that's different, Matt? What's the competitive advantage?
Yeah, I mean, when we think about traditional competitors, there's some legacy antivirus competitors that we don't see that much often. But in terms of broader, cyber consolidators, it's Palo Alto, it's Microsoft. And increasingly, those are two of their bigger rivals. But as the lines begin to blur between security and observability, we think the competitive landscape could increase in the future. And we think about what differentiates CrowdStrike. It really comes down to the architecture. We think it's a unique single code base that's cloud native, high retention, low churn. The ability to upsell modules is very high. And so we think in an area where cyber consolidation increases in the future, not decreases, we do think CrowdStrike is uniquely positioned to help customers consolidate spend.
How, Matt, is CrowdStrike leveraging AI? I ask as my buddy Dan Ives over at Wedbush. Here's how he put it, Matt. He says, the street is underestimating the growth potential for CrowdStrike as a derivative beneficiary of the AI revolution. What do you think?
Yeah, listen, I tend to agree. I do think based on, it all gets back to the architecture. And we think CrowdStrike is leveraging AI internally, because the challenge, as you're well aware, is that adversaries are themselves using AI, and so to stop these zero-day threats, these unknown unknowns, as we sometimes call them, requires quite a bit of data, quite a bit of analytics. We think CrowdStrike is rather uniquely positioned to do that. And so, in the future, as AI threats increase, as CrowdStrike's able to increase their own AI efficacy, we do think they're in, again, a rather unique position to take mounds of data and ultimately help customers stay ahead of these adversaries.
Last one, Matt. I know you have a buy on this name. I'm just curious, though, when clients, Matt, those RBC clients, they ask you, okay, you're a believer, Matt, but what are the risks I got to think about? What do you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, all these stocks have risks. I mean, I think, competition is certainly, generally something that we talk about. There's an increased focus on consolidation, and some of the vendors that we noted before are competitors. I think, there's always the risk we saw with CrowdStrike with their outage a couple of years ago. These systems are important, they're interconnected. And so, there could be some unforeseen situation like that. But we generally think CrowdStrike has learned from a lot of what they've seen in the past. And we do think, as this platform continues to scale out, they're giving their customers a unique advantage here. So yeah, it certainly is not without risk, but we do think CrowdStrike is, again, rather uniquely positioned based on their platform and architecture.
Matt, always great to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
CrowdStrike, okay.
We awake to story today that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is issuing some form of code red warning to his teams, basically wants to pick up the pace on development. What bothers me here, Tom, is that this company underpins the AI trade. It's linked up with AMD, it's linked up with NVIDIA, and if OpenAI is going to fall behind here, what does that mean to the broader AI ecosystem and the various trades that investors have fallen in love with?
Brian, you have hit the nail on the head, and this is what matters to investors in this story, right? The Google Gemini AI model is a huge deal because it threatens to make OpenAI and ChatGPT substantially less relevant. And here's why that matters for all of us. ChatGPT, OpenAI, has committed to spending over $1 trillion in the coming years to fund data center build out. If all of a sudden their revenue prospects dim because Google, which already has a presence everywhere, is going to become the dominant AI model player, then the outlook for ChatGPT just got a lot worse. That means they're not going to have the money to fund all of these commitments they've made, commitments which stocks have already rallied on. So if OpenAI, this is absolutely code red. This is code red for OpenAI. It's also code red for the AI enthusiasm trade. We need to see ChatGPT step up. Otherwise, it's not just OpenAI in the private market that risks dropping a lot. It's the whole AI ecosystem, and that would be a problem for the S&P 500.
Tom, if this is in fact code red for the broader AI ecosystem, I'm going to assume that a lot of people have already missed a pretty substantial move in Google. I'm going to swipe it off to the side for a second. Is this the moment where you go back to a name like Meta that is not reliant on OpenAI, that is spending billions of dollars on CapEx? The street didn't like that a couple weeks ago when they reported earnings, but here's a company growing its core Instagram business, Facebook, and going to be a major player in AI and doesn't necessarily need an OpenAI.
Yes, I think so. And that's what I think, again, this is such a big deal with Google stepping out with Gemini, is that you look at these well-capitalized mega cap tech companies, they don't need to worry about finding funding to pay for all the things they've committed to. They can do that from cash flow and from a very, very favorable debt market. So I do like Meta as a tangential from a Google.
Okay.
How do you invest?
I guess this is one of the things where it comes to putting all your eggs in one basket. When I was going in and investing in AI, I wanted to invest in the things that actually build the components, right? Because when it comes to just the software itself, like ChatGPT, OpenAI, whatever, when you invest just strictly into things that are pivoting into open or into like one source of AI is too complex for that. And it's too dependent on data, right? And data can come from anywhere. So what I wanted to see is places that either farm this data, they collect it from the general population, collect it from all of these research and whatever softwares that are out, just combing the internet, and even these services that you can use that will pay you for your internet usage, your data usage, to see, hey, what is this consumer looking at? What is this consumer clicking on? What is this consumer doing this and that? What questions are they asking? Blah, blah, blah. They're collecting all of this data. And a lot of people over the years have been very frustrated with the selling of data. But I think that over the years, they have been already working on this whole AI model and all of this AI infrastructure, collecting all this data from anyone that touches the internet, basically. And so when it comes to, OpenAI and all this, I'm not a super 100% believer in it, but I do believe in the things that AI can do and the methodology and all of that, the build out. And I believe that someone can come in and like they were saying, Google can be a powerhouse here. And somebody can just sweep it. Google already has everything. They got all the weapons. They got the money. They got the employees. They can absorb another company. They can absorb anybody that comes out with any new ideas and be like, hey, this is Google now. So they're leaving some big footprints in the AI space, especially coming out with Gemini. All right, let's continue.
Around that, especially heading into next year, where a lot of those same market themes, sticky inflation, a cooling labor market, they're still going to be at play.
I absolutely, and I think that it is so critical to just set your expectations accordingly. And next year should be very similar to this year in terms of that uncertainty, and that's just, it comes with the territory. It's the price of admission when you're investing in stocks. I viewed the most recent volatility, even though it was just a 5% drawdown, I hate to say that I celebrate it. We certainly don't like to see downside volatility, but it is healthy. And so what we're telling our clients is just to set your expectations accordingly. We know that this year's performance really surprised a lot of people, especially coming off of 20% plus returns in the prior 2 years. Now we're looking at excluding dividends, about 16%, 15% on the S&P 500 so far year to date. And so set your expectations. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. It could be choppy here as the expectations start to grow for this payoff from all of this infrastructure investment around AI. Will this ultimately produce the productivity gains many are counting on? This market, as you said to open, is really just, it's vulnerable to those the misses on expectations. And so we need to be mindful of that, but ultimately play the long game.
All right, Adam, real quickly there, if you're playing the long game, what sectors or specific stocks would you be bullish on within this current market setup?
Absolutely. Well, the sector that we really like right now is financials. When we're talking about the outlook going forward, I would just highlight one thing we haven't talked about is that next year is a midterm election year. Historically, these are a little bit more volatile and challenging for stocks. But we do believe that President Trump is aware of how difficult this midterm election year could be and how many seats could potentially be lost. And so he and the administration will look to provide support to the economy in any way that they can. What that means is that year one was largely about immigration, about trade. Next year could be about deregulation, one of the themes that many expected immediately following the 2024 election. That bodes well for the financial industry. This is a sector that accounts for about 20% of S&P 5 earnings, but only accounts for about 13% of the overall weight within the S&P 500. So it punches well above its weight, and it is relatively attractively valued. I would just highlight one more thing. As we expect rates to come down, we're also looking at long-term rates, which could actually move higher. This is the first time in over 40 years that the Fed has been cutting rates, and we haven't seen long-term bond yields move lower. We've seen them move higher. That spread actually bodes well for financials, which borrow on the short term and long and lend at the long term.
Okay.
Cyber Monday spending is expected to come in at $14.2 billion, according to Adobe, as consumers hunt for deals on holiday gifts and staples alike. In-store traffic did fall year over year, according to data from RetailNext, saying shoppers opted to plan their purchases rather than impulse shopping. Here with more insights is John Mercer, CoreSite Research Head of Global Research. You guys look at retail and technology and the intersection, so it's great to have you here on this Cyber Monday. So what, we talked about the scope and the size of the spending today. What do you think it's going to look like? Who's going to kind of win today, and how are they going to win?
So from our store visits, we had a whole team out in stores on Black Friday. We think that young fashion retailers, beauty specialty retailers, they were very strong. We saw very strong performance in terms of store traffic at Macy's too. And we've got Macy's earnings coming up later this week. We think that Black Friday overall is going to be giving a renewed impetus to holiday. We think there was a bit of a lull in shopping in October. CoreSite tracked sentiment heading downward in October. We tracked a bit of a lull, a bit of a kind of pullback in holiday shopping. We think with the government shutdown over, with sentiment stabilizing, that Black Friday will give a kind of impetus, a renewed push to the remainder of the holiday season. So we think it was a strong Black Friday. Yes, store traffic was down a little bit, but online sales were up strongly. A lot of retailers saw very strong foot traffic on the day. So we think overall it looked like a pretty good Black Friday, and we think it'll set the scene for a stronger rest of the holiday season.
I do want to broaden it out, but I just want to focus on Macy's for just a second, because that has been, as our Burke De Palma has noted, such a kind of surprise performer this year. So what do you think is, in particular, when you guys were looking at the foot traffic there and the traffic overall, what's getting people into Macy's and getting them excited? Is it deals? Is it merchandise? What's going on?
So Macy's is always a Black Friday winner. When our teams go out in stores every Black Friday, we see very strong traffic at Macy's. However, you're right, it is on the front foot. Last quarter, it reported positive comp growth, which is very encouraging. So we are going to be looking when Macy's reports later this week to see if it can maintain that momentum. We know that Kohl's, its biggest rival in department stores, it reported a much improved performance in its most recent quarter. So Macy's will be hoping to track that kind of sequential improvement. We'll also be looking from Macy's, particularly on commentary on the middle market shopper versus the high income shopper. So Macy's Inc. is relatively unique in that it spans high-end Bloomingdale's to more middle ground with the Macy's nameplate. So we're going to be looking for management commentary. We expect that the high-income consumer has been driving and will be driving holiday spending. We're going to see what Macy's says about that. But it had a good last quarter. It's investing in stores. It's getting shopkeeping basics right. And we think that's an encouraging kind of springboard from which to grow comps going forward.
It's interesting that we see a record, nearly 203 million consumers shopping over the 5-day holiday weekend. That beats the number last year. It was higher than estimates, you point out. I guess start there, Mark. What do you think is explaining that trend? Is that to you, is that a sign of solid underlying demand, Mark? Is that my neighbors taking advantage of bigger discounts? What is going on here?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Josh. Great to join you. I think what we're really seeing is a consumer that throughout the course of most of this year has been highly promotional. They've been attracted to sales And we expected to see that for Black Friday and for the Thanksgiving weekend. We just didn't expect to see it quite as big as it was. Really strong weekend, as you said, 203 million shoppers, the most we've ever seen. And interestingly enough, they weren't just shopping; that they were spending. So we saw good, strong spending, and that's real positive for retailers.
Another stat that stood out to me, Mark, 54% of shoppers took advantage of early holiday sales and promotions. And I guess I wonder, is that front-loading, Mark, that you think might possibly impact December?
Yeah, it's a great question because we've seen front loading both by retailers and by consumers across the course of the year. And again, a lot of that is about sales and opportunities, right? When consumers are concerned about future higher prices, they tend to bring those purchases forward. So, I think it's, a pretty positive sign that we're seeing. I think consumers understand that there's an opportunity not just to buy the holiday items, but to buy lots of other things. We actually saw a little bit of a reduction in terms of people buying gifts, but more and more people buying lots of different things to take advantage of the good deals that they're seeing.
What do you all see, Mark, in terms of potential margin pressure for retailers, given all the discounting we're talking about?
Yeah, so it is a challenging environment, right? We know that the costs of goods are increasing. I think retailers understand that there's a very promotionally focused consumer there, and that to get them into the stores, to get them buying, they've got to offer good deals, right? That's just the nature of the business. The consumer is king. I would say going back to your earlier question about what does it mean for the rest of the season, consumers tell us that they've only hit about 40% of their holiday shopping so far. So there's 53% of that shopping left for the holiday season. So a lot of runway left, a lot of opportunity for retailers to go ahead and capitalize, and for consumers to take advantage of the good deals that they see out there.
Okay. All right. So
it's interesting that we see a record.
So we see that Black Friday and these discount events wasn't as bad as everybody thought they were going to be. People are still spending money, so apparently somebody's got some type of money, right, to keep these companies afloat. Especially a company like Macy's, right? Macy's sells a lot of apparel, clothes. I mean, they do diversify a little bit. They have jewelry and all of that stuff. So for them to still be holding up through after the shutdown and after all of the kind of tariff talks and things like that, that's a pretty good sign. So let's jump back over here to our low flow scanner. We literally still have these three. So PMAX, the Chinese Asian stock, or not Chinese, Hong Kong, whatever. CMCT, that is a REIT. It is below the ATR high, so it's not having high momentum anyway. PMAX, was it below the ATR high as well? Let me see. No, it's above it. But with it being an Asian-based stock, I wouldn't be surprised if it just fades. Let's see, this one, IMRN, sitting right there on the ATR high. So we're just waiting for a new something new to pop up. Let me look back over what we took notes of. So Nvidia was on the front line. It is almost to 1 million shares traded. Marvel is still up 9%, came down a little bit from when we last looked at it. Macy's is down 5%. Amazon, CRM, which was Salesforce, and then CrowdStrike were all mentioned. So I'm gonna go ahead and refresh and see what's new out here. Good morning, Donnell. So let's see, latest. So we looked at Iran's why car prices won't stop rising. Why car prices won't stop rising. This is a topic that people always try to discuss. I personally think it's because people don't look at the end goal of a car. They just look at the payment per month. They're like, oh, I can pay, whatever per month. That's great. I can do that. But the end goal and the interest is what they fail to, the future math is what they fail to do, right? They just do mental math and be like, oh, but the thing is, most people aren't good at math. So, you know, mental math is dangerous for somebody that isn't good for math. They're like, oh yeah, I can make this payment. It's like, nah, bro, you need to go see a financial advisor for every purchase you make, because you make bad decisions. But yeah, same thing with any kind of loan or financing. People look at the payment over the actual end goal of the product and how much it will depreciate or appreciate into the future. So is it going to be a cash flowing asset or no? Like, if you're going to get a car, what you going to use it for? Or is it going to, you using it for business? You just riding around? Do you have the assets to pay for that car for you to just use it for just like just entertainment outlet, right? Go joyriding, you know, do other things, maybe. And you can also, if it is a very nice car, you can make money off of it, taking it to car shows and things like that, cleaning it up, taking it to car shows and showing people what you got. So, you know, there's definitely ways to still drag money even out of a luxury vehicle. Let's see. So I see Rexcon says FVGs. It looks like HH is correct. My back testing shows better results with big caps. However, KXIN would have worked this morning. KXIN call out from Rexcon. Let's go look at that. KXIN. KXIN. Let's see what you got going on over here. KXIN up 46% with 5 million shares traded. Let's deep dive on it. Do our due diligence first, always. We call it touching grass. Go outside and see what real life is talking about. So KXI or Kaijin Holdings. Let's go to, that sounds like it's already an Asian stock. So let's see what it's talking about over here. All right. Kaijin Holdings, an investment holding company, primarily sells domestic and imported automobiles in the People's Republic of China and Hong Kong. So yesterday and today have been heavy in the international spaces, a whole lot of Hong Kong. And I'm wondering, is this actually blocked for trading? Let me actually test it. So let's just buy one share and see if we get the notification. Yep, it's blocked. So Kaijin Holdings, TOS, is not playing those games with these Asian companies. They're kicking them out of there. So let's just continue reading. So it also sells new and used vehicles through a network of dealerships with a focus on automobile brands such as Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, and Porsche, as well as through online sales channels, including the Kaijin app and web interfaces. The company is headquartered in Beijing, the People's Republic of China. So it is blocked. Okay. It is blocked for trading on TOS. You may find some luck on something else. Maybe it's with Webull or something else, but yeah, we are blocked. Let's go look at the daily chart for Kaijin and see what it's looking like. So daily chart, let's see if we can back it up a little bit. Looks like they've done a lot of reverse splits, especially with the top price being 16,000. I know it's never traded up there. So it's done a couple of splits, closed yesterday at 310 and is currently trading at about 440. So yeah, but being a Chinese stock and missing the trading volume from TOS, because TOS, a lot of people use it. For sure. I mean, if you are doing like hyper scalping, maybe, and even people use it for hyper scalping. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. So it's definitely used. So to be missing all of that volume from this one platform and only to leave it to light speed users and maybe international users that are using offshore brokers, it's like, I don't know, kind of sketchy. Let's go check the float on it. The float is under 1 million. Not a whole lot of insiders or institutions on this one. So not a lot of people just holding this one anyway. They pretty much just buying and selling. That's probably why this stock has a hard time staying over $1, because people aren't holding it. People don't trust the company. So even look at all this net income, all of these negatives. So definitely people are wary of this company. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Did I miss anything? Okay, risk comes talking. Okay, you would like to hear more about how you use the momentum as confirmation for your trades. And then Donnell says, I use momentum during pre-market. I look for the fair value gap imbalance during intraday, using higher time frame like 5 minute, 15 minute to find fair value gaps. 1 minute for entry. Okay. Y'all are okay. The fair value gap coming into play. We're hearing multiple people talk about it, so maybe it's some juice there, worth the squeeze. All right. Let's jump back over here to the news and see if anything new has popped out. Still haven't seen anything make it onto the higher float. It looks like Nvidia is making its way there. It only has like 100,000 shares to go, and it'll be leading the day. Oh, let me look at Discord. Rexcon said he dropped something in the Discord. We do have a free Discord where we have these conversations about trading strategies, market updates, and just how the day is going, especially for day trading. Let's see what we see. Okay. So, okay, RE looks like I see. Okay. Back testing shows better results with big caps. Let's go down here. Look at my post in Discord regarding. Yeah, I see it. Let me zoom in on that. What you got circled there. So I see you have your stop already labeled. You have your 0.31R. I'm guessing that's 30. Is that 30 cents R, or maybe that's 31 cents is your risk, and you're looking for that reward movement off of that. So Cajun moved out of that box, that 31-cent reward, and it's way away from your stop down there at the 370s. And looks like you possibly could have got maybe a 60. Well, if you traded it perfectly, maybe a 60-cent move. But this basically moved from 4 all the way to 460. So you could have definitely got 30 cents off of it, got out and with your profit. So that looks good. And then what you have circled over here, which looks like a time and sales where you're looking at the 437s, building as some kind of, there's some kind of buying around this this purple line here, which I'm guessing is an EMA of some type of moving average. So yeah, that is got about a 60-cent move off of that little bounce there. Let's see. So you're actually trading on TOS. Okay. So there's no way you're able to buy this thing. So you're basically just testing out the strategy on TOS charts. Kaijun. 6 million shares traded. Hutu popped up. HTOO popped up. It's got 30% up right now. It has 3 million shares traded on it. Let's dive into this one and see what's going on. It says Fusion Fuel Green PCL announces 2 engineering contracts totaling approximately 1.37 million for residential developments in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Okay, so Hutu popped up here. Let's go and deep dive on Hutu. HTOO. Okay, so let's go look at the profile and the floats. All right, so Fusion Fuel Green PLC, together with its subsidiaries, manufactures and sells miniaturized PEM electrolyzers to produce green hydrogen in Portugal, Spain, and the rest of Southern Europe. The company offers HEVO Chain, a centralized PEM electrolyzer, and HEVO Solar, a grid-independent hydrogen generator. It also provides engineering and procurement services, FEL 1, 2, and 3 studies, construction and legalization services, and operation and maintenance services. In addition, the company is involved in hydrogen project development. It serves natural gas networks and grids, oil refineries, ammonia producers, regulators, and related government departments. Fusion Fuel Green PLC was founded in 2018 and is based in Dublin, Ireland. All right, let's notate that. So we got a this basically does, what's the keywords out of here? Keywords is, I mean, green hydrogen, nobody really searching for that, but let's see, maybe utilization, grids, oil refinery. So gas network, natural gas could be one. Natural gas. Natural gas. And also with this, I need to go and check out what oil is doing today. So natural gas, oil refineries. And ammonia producers. I don't know if that's going to be a keyword, but I mean, it could be, but I don't know. But this one is based out of Dublin, Ireland. Ooh, okay. So yeah, and this is also a utilities. It's in the sector of utilities. So utilities has 131 full-time employees. Utilities and basically renewable energy. I think I clicked something that I shouldn't have. Okay, but anyway, just kind of watching it. It's up 32%, coming on up the board as far as volume goes. So, okay, let me copy this. What? I cannot copy this for anything in the world, can I? The struggle is real. All right, copy this, paste it right on in there in my description. All right, so let's go look at the statistics, see what this float's looking like. So looking like the float is under 1,710,000 shares. $710.15 shares. So it is a low float. And now let's go and look at this daily chart on it. So this is my description. So we know the location, Dublin, Ireland, natural gas and oil refineries. I should put float out there so we can know that that's the float. Float. Okay. All right, now float of 710.15 million sector utilities, renewable, full-time employees. All right, so now let's look at the actual charting here on the what we got back here. So it is currently trading around 462. I'm guessing I looked at this before because I see several different markups back here. But looks like it's been through a couple of reverse splits as well. So we'll go ahead and get rid of some of these. And we want to look for the most current ones. So possible daily. I'm gonna leave one of these because I'm gonna probably use it as a duplication. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate this one. We do have a little peak out here at the 574s. Right now it's at 461. I think 574 could be doable. Let's see. Back up a little bit. The next level is all the way. Yeah, that's a long way out there. All right, let's actually see what other news that it has. So it's the Dubai contracts that it's got 1.37 million in new Dubai contracts. So this is one that I'm probably going to continue watching throughout the day. Let me test it and see if it's actually tradable. Okay. It is tradable. Okay. So I'll be watching this one throughout the day just to see, because it is getting money. It's got, and I don't know what it can use this money for though. Let me go and look at, let me go and look through here. So 1.37 million from clients located in Dubai with an additional estimated annual recurring revenue of 629,000 from liquefied petroleum gas. So these are big oil moves here. So we'll see what that's going to bring in. But it does have catalysts on the day, and it is going to bring in more revenue behind this 1.37 whatever million. Okay, the approximate project value is 1.23 million. In addition to, the project is expected to generate an estimated annual recurring operational revenue for LPG supply of approximately $630,000 per year from here on. So that's probably maintenance and things like that on this on that project. So we'll see how that goes. It is moving on up, getting trading. So let's look for a structure now. So we looked at the daily chart. Oh, that order is still out there. Let me cancel that order. We looked at the daily chart. We looked at the statistics. We got all of that notation. We've done our due diligence. So let's start looking at structure. So it hit a high up here of 507. And the other thing I need to check out is oil itself and see how it's doing. So let's flip back over here to oil itself. I think it's slash. Okay, oil. Let's see what you got out here, man. I haven't looked at oil in so long. All right. So oil is at $59.37 per barrel. Whoops. Let's zoom back a little bit. So it has been coming on down. And I have seen news reports of the oil price or the gas prices coming down as well. So, but yeah, 59.37. It has a little bit of I don't even know if we can count this as an uptrend, but it's an idea. It's not concrete, but just an idea coming down here to this bottom. And we'll see how oil reacts. If oil has a nice green day. Let me look at some of this news over here. So on oil, let's go back to the top of the morning. Oil rises with focus on Ukraine's Russia-Ukraine negotiations. China, I just want to specifically look for oil. Let's go to keywords. So I want to search for oil. Keyword. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Oh, okay, here it is. I was about to say that didn't work. Oil, Dow Jones. That doesn't look right. It's like it removed my keyword, I guess. It is what it is. Let me go back over here. That keyword must be stuck in there because it's not showing me anything for PMAX anymore. All right. So I only want to see oil. For oil. So you can search the news on TOS. I don't know if y'all ever do that, but you can actually search for keywords, and that's what I wanted right there. I just couldn't see the button. All right, so oil, starting from this morning, oil rises with the focus on Ukraine's negotiations. Hong Kong and China gas stock falls to 1.4%. Softer energy prices, lower dollar hedging cost, lift euro. Press releases. So Tamarack Valley Energy announces 2026 corporate budget. Okay, that's all I'm really seeing for oil. I guess I could search the keyword energy, but I'm not going to do that. All right, so we already got this one. Get that out of there now. Okay, and bring this back over here. All right, so now let's go back over to H2, Hutu. So we had a little bit, well, I just drew this structure and it kind of came down. All right, now it does have the ATR high here, which I like to see it stay above at this 380 level. And all this ATR is basically the ending price of yesterday, plus and minus the ATR of the closing of yesterday. So whatever the ATR was at the close, you know, plus or minus to the top side or the downside. And I like to see it holding over this ATR high. So right now reached up to the 507s. Don't know how far it is away from that point we marked up there. So the point we marked is right here at 574. And yeah, so we're going to see how this all plays out. Has an ATR of 31 cents from yesterday. Don't know how much that's going to grow coming into today. But, you know, my target per trade is 30 cents. So we'll see how it wants to play. We will see how it wants to play. Yeah, I know my screen. So basically I had to stretch that screen out. Basically it's like a still shot, and I had to stretch it out to see the actual button I was trying to get to. So that's why it did that. But yeah, we're good. We're good now. All right, so H2 coming on down, and we're just looking for structure. Now the open or the low of pre-market looks to be this 350 level. So we'll see if any kind of trend can start to build from this level. It kind of, we like to see clean trading, but I mean, it is trading, but it's about to reach 10 million shares traded now. On the high floats, what's leading the day is Nvidia and Irene up here on the high floats. Just joined, and then H2 coming back up to test this previous level, and we'll see if it holds it down again. We're looking for structure though. 10 million shares traded on it. Let me move this over a little bit, activate, and I guess I'll put it down here. Hopefully it doesn't go all the way down there, but you never know. All right, so yeah, H2 is pretty much the most bullish one that we've seen today. It does have catalysts, so I'm definitely going to be watching it for structure build out. And I just want my piece. Now, I know it is Wednesday, though. Statistically, I usually stay away from Wednesdays, but I mean, I just want to see what yesterday was. I mean, I already knew when I looked at yesterday, all the Chinese and Israel and Australia stocks was moving. I was like, nah. But today we actually have something that's actually making some money and has the promise of making money into the future. So I'm thinking that's going to kind of hold a little bit better than the catalyst that came from yesterday. So let's see, 507s. We'll see how this structure continues to hold. If it holds, point of controls. Let's take that into note as well. So point of control on the 1 minute is 449 on the 1 minute. Let's look at the 5 and the 5 and the 15 on the point of control. So 5 minute has a 448 and 15 minute has a 426. So let's go ahead and draw that box out. 449 box. Down here to 426 is the bottom of the box. So we'll see how it trades these levels. And it continues to hold this idea of structure. And that's the first tab we really don't know. And then it came up here and showed a little bit more respect here. So it's coming to the bottom side of this box. And we'll see how it trades around the 425s. It's only up 23%, 11 million shares traded. It's catching up with PMAX quite quickly. We just got more coming in here. So, oh boy, these are the cheap ones coming through. Virax, VRAX just popped up. 33%. I don't even know what the news is on it. If it has news, it does have news. So it says Virax Biolab CEO James Foster outlines clinical progress and 2026 priorities in the latest annual letter. So that's VRAX. If you are one of the cheaper traders that likes those cheaper ones. Let's see what else. Yeah, Virax, but Virax only has 2 million shares traded, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a round trip or not. Just bounced up here from 41 up here to 54. But yeah, H2, H2, I'm still favoring this one, especially with the news that it has that it's going to be making money. Because I'm pretty sure that some shorts on this one that were like, man, this thing ain't going nowhere because, you know, it's just not going anywhere. But I'm going to continue watching it to see how this structure plays out. If it starts to break away from this structure, maybe it forms a zone between the 425s and this ATR low 381. It does have room to move down, so I'm definitely going to give it a little bit of space. And now Virax, VRAX, is leading the day in percentage gain for the low floats. It has 34% up, which isn't just a super duper percentage up. And the catalyst for it isn't the greatest either. It's just their CEO outlines clinical progress, 2026 priorities. So not a killer catalyst there. So I'm not expecting much out of VRAX. Let's see why people are messing with it though. How low is the float on this one? Virax. So the float is looking like 3.68 million for this little cheap stock. 3.68 million. Ugh. All right, let's go look at the profile. So it's looking like Virax Biolabs Group Limited, a biotech company, distributes diagnostics test kits for the prevention, detection, diagnostics, and risk management of viral diseases in the field of T-cell in vitro diagnostics. The company offers various in vitro diagnostics, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. So that's a cheap one. If it leads today, then, you know, it is what it is. If it starts to catch up with everything else and starts leading the day, I'm like, all right, well, you just let me know that Wednesday ain't the day. I really want to see H2 be the one that leads and continues to rise. But if VRAX catches up with this volume, I'm gonna be like, all right, too many people are interested over here. So I need to just hold up and wait. Hold up and wait. All right, so H2 trading towards the bottom side of this box here at the 427s. And at this point, kind of watching Virax to come on back down and chill out. Just make a round trip. Okay, so what ideas do we have upward here? Well, there's is playing in this box. So testing this level again, and we'll see if it continues to find heat. But Virax is also moving around, but I'm thinking this one has the better catalyst on H2. It's above the ATR high, had a nice little pullback right on this level, has the bottom of this box to test again. I'm gonna wait for the 425 test to see what it wants to do. especially with it being Wednesday. This is usually a weird day for me anyway. I like to buy lows. If I'm gonna buy on a Wednesday, buy low, you know? Buy low and let it play. All right, so again, this is the third. So it's tested this 1, 2, 3 times on the 1 minute right at this level. We'll see if it falls again. So this is looking like a confirmed level here at this 425, and we're going to see if this thing can start to squeeze or if it wants to go down even lower. We have the ATR high down here at 381s. Coming down here to the bottom of the box, 427s. I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh boy, man, I just went to the rest, bro. God, that's crazy. All right, well, VRAX is now taking the lead here in volume. So VRAX, the one that we said we didn't want to see outperform. Well, guess what? More people were interested in VRAX, and it has 17 million shares traded now, straight up to the roof off of this weak news. So what is that telling me? Wait. That's telling me to wait for VRAX to fail hard. Fail hard. That's crazy, man. I just took a restroom break. That thing fell crazy on H2, down to 15%. But I'm still gonna be watching it. We've already researched it. We already know what it can do. It has this level up here. So now what we got to start seeing is a uptrend. So it has no uptrend yet, but we do see this idea of a downtrend that it respected heavily because it fell from here 438 all the way down, 438 all the way down to 438 all the way down to these fours. So let me activate this. We're still gonna watch it. Still gonna be looking, and all of that came right down to our ATR high. And I want to see higher lows than this ATR high here. And so it can start trying to get back to that box. But yeah, that was quite a bit of a little dip there. VRAX just running through the, is it going to hit $1? It's up 109%. So that's not good. It's getting more and more volume pressed into it. And yeah, that's not good. And you called out, so Donnell called out BITX as well. BITX. Let me look at that. BITX. BITX. Oh, okay. Those are higher price ones. Y'all are talking about something totally different. Okay. I was like, what is BITX? Oh. $32. That's a long-term investment. BitX. But it is up 4%, so that is a pretty good call out there. All right, so, and this is the other thing with these higher float ones, or not the higher float, the larger cap ones, it's much harder for them to get outside of their ATRs. You see how they almost never, unless it's just a gap, like Nvidia gaps like hard, they almost never get to these ATRs. They'll use these ATRs as hard resistance. You can see that up here, where it closed at, came up here to this ATR high, faded down here to this ATR low, and came back to a median section on CrowdStrike. Same thing with, let's see, Salesforce. So Salesforce definitely got above it, but Salesforce isn't as big. Let me see. Amazon would be one. ATR high. Look at the ATR high, way out there, 240. If it gets up there during the day, just shoots or something, yeah, you might want to be looking at that ATR as some type of resistance. Let's see, Macy's probably isn't as bad off because it's a lower price, easier to move. Nvidia, same deal, I believe. Yeah, it's way away from it. Nvidia, yeah. So those ATRs, they definitely change the game when you know where they're at. All right, anyway, back over here to Verax, H2 sitting here. So now we're getting a little bit of another idea here off this, whoops, wrong tool. Let me get this right. So a little bit of idea yet, but this has not been tested. So has this low here at the 388s. And watching to see if it continues to hold this 382 ATR high. It's at 13%. Verax still up. 29 million shares. Bro, why did they jump on this so heavy? This thing is almost at 30. It almost doubled H2's volume in like seconds. So let me see, what's 13 plus 13, 26. Yeah, it doubled it. Yeah, it doubled that quick, man. Okay. It is what it is. So H2, want to see a tested trend start to hold on this one. We know the previous points of control were up here. And we'll see if more trading comes in down here, but I'm not sure about any of this now that Verax is going crazy. So I'm just going to wait on that one. See if Verax ends up failing. 32 million shares traded during pre-market. People are taking huge sizes on this. They're probably taking 20,000 share positions on this, which let me see how much that actually is. 20,000 shares of a 70-cent stock. 20,000 times 70. That's about 14,000 per position. So I'm pretty sure that's doable for a lot of these traders. So they could be taking even bigger size, maybe 40,000 shares with the way it is moving up. 40,000 would be a 28. So yeah, they could take a lot of those. And it's almost holding that 100% mark up there. Hit a high of 88s, and let's go look at the where could it just start falling at? So Verax, we've seen it before. It did a reverse split, so it was trading down here at 39 cents, popped up to 77 cents, so right around these levels here. So I'm going to mark that as maybe a fall point at the 70 cents right there. Possible. So this really isn't a peak level because it's been hit twice here. So I'm going to say this is a double top on the daily chart. Possible double top. Possible. Well, at this point, it'd be a triple top if it fails. So it'll be possible triple top. Triple top. Or possible daily triple top. Possible daily triple top. Daily. Okay. So if it fails, this will be another time because it hit this at not, well, I'm not sure it actually hit this number. I'm not sure. Yeah, 70 cents. So one time here on 9/16, one time here on 10/16, a month later, and now here it is December 3rd, and it's back up here. So want to see that fall. Where's H2? So E2, this trend here still has not been tested. So I'm still looking for this to be tested again and for it to reclaim, but it's not there yet. Has room back down here to 395, and then the ATRs are down here at 382, right back at this downtrend that we've been seeing, and it's still under that point of control level. So still waiting for more structure on that, but we do have our first idea at least there. So let's see how that goes. It pulls on back. Has 14 million shares traded as Virax continues to throw out these wicks. And this 70, below this 70 is going to be bad for Virax. But it does have that crazy amount of volume on it right now. So looking for this one again to respect the level, come back down here and see if it can break down 397s. 397s. And this will be another, if it does do a little peak out here and then fail, that'll be another outlier we can use under this point of control level. But Virax continues to hold up 100%. So not giving up. Point of control right now is 80 cents on the on the 1 minute. It is 75 cents and 75 cents on the 5 minute and 73 cents on the 15 minutes. So let's draw that box. So the low part is 73 and the high part is 80. 73 up to 80. So it's got this box here, and we'll see if it wants to give up the ghost and trade within this box. Let me activate this and move it over. Yeah. We got another one here. What is QCLS? It doesn't have any catalysts, so not too worried about that. I'm worried about the things with catalysts right now. Virax has a very weak catalyst, but still insane volume. PMAX, QCLS, no catalyst. CMCT, nope. H2, we see it again, respecting this downtrend, coming in here to $4. And let's see a breakdown. And can we get another upwards idea down here above this 382 level? Is the question. Down there testing right now, though. Virax almost to 50 or going towards 50 million shares traded during pre-market. The high up here was 88 cents. It's throwing up another one to 87. So this one, oh, it might break. It's going to break. It almost did. Almost. That's a double top there. Almost a double top. Not exactly a double top. Has this box down here that it is holding above. Man, that thing looks like it wants to break. Up 121% right now. So this is where the focus is. This is where I need to be watching until it fails. Really want to see it get back below this 70 cents. We can also look for structure on these, but the problem with the cheaper ones, and the lower the float and the cheaper, when they do get manipulation, those huge wick, well, just broke the top. All right, so this is going to be an unpredictable one. Went up to 91. 91, and then will it drop back down into our box down here where all the heavy trading was, or is it still going to hold up? Looking back over here at H2, we have a secondary idea for upward motion. All right, so we have a secondary idea for upward motion here. We'll see if it continues to hold up. So it tested, and this is another test of this level. But again, we still have VRAX that hasn't fallen yet. So just in waiting mode right now. $50 million shares almost on VRAX. Insane volume during pre-market. It's not giving up. It's still got buyers too interested in this. Oh boy. This is not what I wanted the Wednesday to look like. Where is this actually based out of? VRAX is a United Kingdom. So let me go ahead and notate that while we are just waiting. So this is a United Kingdom stock. Kingdom. And let's look at the float. Float is looking like 3.68. Okay, so we saw that before. 3.68. 68 float. Okay, and what else did we need? So we got that. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so yeah, we'll hit okay. And it is right back up there to the 91s. May break out again. I mean, this is where the focus is, so this is where I'm looking as well, so I don't make bad decisions on something else while this thing is still winning. Don't really have any downward structure that is confirmed yet. It just looks like it keeps wanting to break out higher. There it goes, 92 breakout. Yep. So if this is where people want to look, I will continue looking here too. Am I willing to trade this? Absolutely not. But why look away? Just because you see a horror movie doesn't mean you need to look away, right? You keep watching it. Keep watching it. Don't go over there and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go find me another trade. No, this is the horror movie you need to be watching. This is the channel. This is the hot channel. People be like, oh well, I found that one early, but I just stopped watching because I just couldn't find a trade on it. Nah, bruh. Nah. Focus. Need to confirm that a downtrend is at least starting on this one, because right now it's just been doing these little breakouts. Yep, all the way up to $1. Let's see. Now it's hitting that old dollar level. Let's see if we start seeing some type of downtrend formed here. That's a whole dollar level. It's about to, unless it's going to push through it. I just don't understand. On this catalyst, it just doesn't make sense. Virex Biolabs CEO James Foster outlines clinical progress and 2026 priorities in latest annual letter to shareholders. That's the, they must have made some crazy progress. Let me go read this. I mean, let me go look at this news. For it to push up like this on that news, it must be something in the details that we're missing. Let's see. Gotta be something in the details that I'm missing. Virex Biolabs CEO James Foster outlines clinical progress. Virex Biolabs proprietary in development diagnostic technology, such as long COVID. I mean, It's all about COVID and these diseases, Lyme disease. I'm just not seeing why. If it doesn't make sense, it's just telling me to just chill. Just chill. So can we start to see some type of downtrend forming back to this level here and trying to get back under the 70s? Let me go and also refresh our news to see if any new news has come out on Yahoo Finance. Okay, Copper, Macy's. Nothing looks to this community rates. Yeah, nothing too interesting there. All right. It is what it is. I would have liked to trade at H2, but this thing's gonna have to drop from the sky. Get under that 70 cents. And it's almost got set. I mean, it's going towards 100 million shares traded here. There's so much volume, it is insane. There's 68 million shares traded this morning. They buying every dip. They've got to be trading on like 5-second charts, 1-second charts for it to be moving like this. Okay, there's 87s. Go ahead and get that explosion all the way down. Point of control on the 1 minute did move up from where it was down here to the 88. But on the 5 minute, it's still at 81. And on the 15 minutes at 86. So, not sure what it wants to do from here. It's just not giving up. All right, well, we pretty much came, we seen, we saw. Virex is leading the day coming into today, so it is what it is. If I can find a trade, I will let you guys know. But the thing that I'm watching is H2, and if it can't, if it continues to be overshadowed like this, I'm just might be another no trade day for me. And again, it just concurs with the whole Wednesday trade thing, just being not going well for me, not giving me what I'm looking for, and being super choppy. But if I can get a little bit, I will. Not opposed to trading, but definitely selling myself out of it right now. Anyway, about to oh, it is 7:30 already. Okay. And this one continues to show green. Continues to show that it wants to go higher. All right, so now we have an idea here, or a beginning of an idea. It may not even be one. It might come right back through this and crack this, but we have a little bit of a downward idea here, and we'll see if we get any confirmations off of that to try to attack it later. But yeah. As far as everything else, nothing else looks as hot as that. So kind of just biding my time. One more look over here, H2. So H2 came down here again towards this 390 level, this ATR low. But as long as that other one's doing what it's doing, I just don't trust it. I just don't trust it. It did trade out of this previous little level here, though, of this idea of a downtrend, kind of consolidated out of it. It has a high up here of 406, so maybe a $4 try could be possible, but again, I'm just not trusting it at this point. So maybe we can start to retest that really hard and start to hold a uptrend. That would look a lot better. But anyway, that is it for me today. I'm going to catch you all in the morning, or the next morning, pre-market Thursday. If I find a trade, great. Also, we have, what are you doing here? This one just power bombed up with no catalyst. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. Why you gotta have no catalyst acting like this? Anyway, what was I doing? I was breaking it down. I'm gonna be watching the markets. I may not be in the Discord immediately, but I'll be checking in there as well. The Discord is free, where we continue the conversation on the trading day and what we're seeing and how we're attacking the day and how we're doing. But yeah, I mean, these things may hold. I'm just not sure about H2 right now. With these other ones coming up, QCLS just taking more gas out of the true catalyst. Let's actually go back through the watch list right now. So we can see Virex is leading, 121% up, has 74 million shares traded. Behind it is PMAX, the Chinese stock, which is blocked on TOS. QCLS, no catalyst that is up. CT, which I believe that was something that is trash. And then H2 here at 10%, not competing with any of these up here. So just not looking the greatest is all I'm saying. And on the high float side, the leading large caps are Nvidia, Irene, and Tesla. On the on watch, the things we took notes of this morning, Cajun, that ended up not being much at all. That was just a Chinese stock that was blocked on TOS as well. But we got Nvidia that was on the front page news. Marvel still up 9%. Macy's was on the front page news, but it's heading down 6%. BITX was just a call out. So that, then we had Amazon on the front page. We had Salesforce and CrowdStrike. So we got a lot to look at today. Just want to be, take caution, especially with Virex. Absolutely continue to try to get to $1 again. So this is just sickening to me. This should fall from the sky so hard, but it's just not. People are going to be playing this one, and it is what it is. It looked like it was starting some idea of downwards movement, but now just riding on up. So at this point, I mean, we have an idea of upward movement here. We'll see if it just continues to hold this, but no real clean downwards trend structure yet. It is what it is. I'm about to get off of here and make some money doing something else. I will keep my eyes if I can make money today. If I can't, oh well, it'll just be another no trade day. Yesterday was a no trade day, so it is what it is. I am green on the week and green on the month, and I'm just chilling. But yeah, that's it for me. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.